Pokémon is not like it was before, and I'm not talking about the quality of the games, but actually about the gameplay itself. It is not simple as it used to be. And also no, by simple I do not mean easy, I really just mean more bare bones. Especially the battles, held items and abilities are absolutely awesome and bring some great depth to something that was below bare bones in Gen 1, but after Gen 6, well, things got gimmicky. So hey, I'm not so a strainer, and could Pokemon ever go back? Let's get into it. This is not a diss on gimmicks in general, I enjoy them for what they are and I can't deny that they change battles in a good way. They also add some cool lore to the games and I'm all here for it. Still, I can't be the only one that feels that in the long run, we might not get anywhere else to turn when it comes to these modern features of Pokemon games. This is something that I've been thinking about a lot when trying to theorize what gimmick will they bring to Gen 10, something I'll talk about when it's relevant, but it's starting to look a little bit tough. As tough as if you don't like and subscribe, of course. And no, Pokemon is not the one to blame here, it's the concept itself. The whole thing about Pokemon gimmicks is how they break the limits that are established in the Pokemon franchise. Mega Evolution breaks the limit of evolution, offering an extra one to a few Pokemon that we thought would not evolve again. Z moves break the limit of having only 4 moves available, bringing a 5th powerful one to the move pool of every Pokemon holding a Z crystal. Dynamax is a strange one, but it does break the limit of the HP stat, doubling it up and also adding more powerful moves. It also kinda breaks size, but it's just an illusion supposedly. Terastal breaks the limit of a Pokemon's maximum of 2 types, adding a 3rd Terra type that can even be changed. Sure, in the future we can have the Dynamax approach to every single stat and I can even think of 1 or 2 things that can still be broken, but will run out eventually. And that's when they either repeat the gimmick or we have to go back. By going back, I mean having a Pokemon game that doesn't have any strange gimmicks to alter gameplay and is simply what it was back in Gen 5. Battles without any special thing going on, besides, like I said, the held items and abilities. A game that goes back to a time where the lore was only connected to the story and not the gameplay itself. It wasn't bad, but it's been a long time since that affected the really main game. We haven't had a VGC-oriented title without a gimmick in forever, and even non-VGC titles, well, most of them had a gimmick to themselves. Let's Go had Mega Evolution, and Legends Arceus, while not the real gimmick, had agile and strong style. It was only BDSP that took us not to the oldest, but to older days. And that was also one of the things that got the Gen 4 remakes a bit of criticism. History dictated that remakes were in the same image as the main games of their gens. Fire Red and Leaf Green clearly had the same style of Ruby, Sapphire and Emerald. Heart Gold and Soul Silver had the Diamond, Pearl and Platinum style as well. Then, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire not only had the same style as X and Y, but it also had Mega Evolution. Let's Go was a bit of an odd one out since it wasn't the first Kanto remake and everyone kinda knew it was made to get a hold of that high number of Pokemon Go players. And the Sinnoh remakes, of course, would have the Gen 8 approach and even their gimmick maybe, but they didn't. They didn't have anything, it was just top-down, bare-bones Pokemon, and it kinda felt like a breath of fresh air, I'm gonna be honest. Kinda like a, oh, this takes me back kinda thing, but it wasn't the general consensus at all, like I said. And it was a remake, it had nostalgia by its side, but what happens if it was the new region? In the last few years, gimmicks not only became a mainstay, but it also became a big part of a new region's personality. You can think of Kalos, Alola, Galar and Paldea without thinking about Mega Evolution, Z moves, Dynamax and Terastal. They're so ingrained in everything about those regions and those games that they eventually become what they're known for. And we are used to it, we're used to seeing things through the lens of something like that. And of course, they could simply repeat gimmicks like I said. I mean, Kitakami, the Blueberry Academy and Hoenn are proof that a gimmick can 100% be in more regions than one, but they have another way to bring out the personality of each region. After all, Pokemon is constantly finding ways to bring out something new and give them more room to expand. We had regional forms in Gen 7 to add more to the roster without the need for new Pokemon. And now, Convergent Pokemon take on a similar role. They're a way to not just use regional forms and actually give us new Pokemon. I mean, even Paradox Pokemon are odds to older Pokemon that we already knew. Those forms in Pokemon are also deeply connected with the region they come from, just like the gimmicks, and that's why I'm sure they can use them to keep the region with its own personality without the need to just constantly have to think of a new gimmick to use. In fact, those Pokemon can easily serve as nostalgia crutches and just make us look at that game with different eyes from the get-go. It's with this thought in mind that I believe that a game without gimmicks could actually work, but they would have to go very hard on the other side. They would have to bring us regional forms, convergent Pokémon, and even cameos from recognizable characters. Basically everything to bring out that nostalgia factor. As for VGC though, I think you have to be the one telling me if it would work or not, so let me know in the comments down below. With that said, I feel like there is an issue they're facing, and that is that the longer they go without a gimmickless main game, the more people will be surprised, and not in a good way, when that eventually comes. Still, it might never come. Pokemon has been going strong for so long now, with so many interesting ideas that it might be that I'm simply being too naive and not giving them enough credit. Maybe we'll never live to see the day when Pokemon truly runs out of ideas. I mean, people have been saying that since Gen 2, and well, that was a long time ago. And that is all I have for you today. I believe that the longer Pokemon waits to release a gimmickless game, the harder it will be for it to be accepted. But what about you? Would you like a gimmickless game? Let me know in the comments down below. And now, like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon content, and also ring the bell so you know when the next video is out. Also, you can become a channel member or check out my merch in order to further support the channel. I'd be forever thankful for that. You can follow me on social media or check out one of my streams here and on Twitch. All the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.